Have you ever wondered why you can't resist checking your phone, even when you know you should be working? Or why you feel driven to chase certain rewards but lose interest in others? At the heart of it all is one powerful chemical, dopamine. In popular culture, dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but that's a myth. Dopamine isn't about pleasure itself, it's about motivation and drive. It's what makes you want things, it's what fuels action, and it plays a huge role in how you make decisions, from what to eat for dinner to whether you pursue long term goals. In this video, we'll explore how dopamine drives your decisions and how you can harness this system to make better choices. Let's start with the basics. What is dopamine? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger in your brain. It plays a key role in motivation, learning, reward processing, habit formation. But here's the key point. Dopamine isn't released when you get a reward. It's released in anticipation of a reward. In other words, it's what drives you to pursue the things you want. The more your brain expects a positive outcome, the more dopamine it releases, pushing you to take action. This system evolved to help us survive. Dopamine motivated our ancestors to seek food, water, social connection, and shelter, essential behaviors for survival. How dopamine drives behavior. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you smell fresh coffee in the morning. Your brain predicts, if I get that coffee, I'll feel good. Dopamine is released in anticipation. You feel motivated to get out of bed and make the coffee. Notice, the dopamine rush happens before you take action and before you actually taste the coffee. It's the anticipation of reward that drives the behavior. This system is incredibly powerful, and it affects countless decisions every day. Checking notifications, reaching for a snack, opening Netflix instead of finishing a project. Each time, your brain predicts a small reward, and dopamine nudges you to act. Why dopamine is not just the pleasure chemical. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Dopamine doesn't make you enjoy things, it makes you want them. This is why people can become addicted to behaviors or substances that no longer bring true pleasure, but still trigger dopamine driven craving. Studies in addiction science show that over time, dopamine signaling shifts away from actual pleasure and toward cue triggered wanting. For example, seeing a beer ad can trigger intense dopamine driven craving in someone struggling with alcohol addiction, even if drinking no longer brings much pleasure. This same mechanism explains many everyday habits and compulsions: checking your phone every few minutes, binge watching shows late at night, mindless online shopping. It's not always about enjoyment, it's about dopamine fueled wanting, the dopamine reward prediction error. Your brain constantly learns from experience, and dopamine is key to this process. One of the most fascinating discoveries in neuroscience is the concept of reward prediction error. Here's how it works. If a reward is better than expected, big dopamine spike, stronger motivation to repeat the behavior. If a reward is worse than expected, dopamine drops, motivation decreases. This is why variable rewards are so addictive. Think of slot machines or refreshing social media feeds. You don't know what you'll get, and that unpredictability creates powerful dopamine-driven anticipation. It's also why many apps and games are intentionally designed with variable reward structures, because they hijack this ancient dopamine system to keep you engaged. How dopamine affects decision-making. Dopamine shapes your decisions in subtle but profound ways. It biases you toward immediate rewards because those produce stronger, more certain dopamine signals. It pushes you to repeat behaviors that previously led to positive outcomes. It influences risk taking. Higher dopamine activity can increase willingness to take risks. This is why short-term temptations often win over long-term goals. Your brain is wired to chase the path of highest expected dopamine payoff unless you consciously intervene. Dopamine, habits, and procrastination. Dopamine also explains why some habits are hard to break and why procrastination happens. Habits form when behaviors repeatedly trigger dopamine release. Once a habit loop is established, cues automatically trigger dopamine-driven action, even without conscious thought. Procrastination works the same way. Let's say you need to start a challenging project. Your brain anticipates stress, low dopamine. But scrolling social media, immediate dopamine hit, so your brain nudges you toward the more rewarding option, even if you consciously know it's not the best choice. Understanding this dynamic is key to changing behavior. How to work with your dopamine system. Here's the good news. You can design your environment and habits to work with your dopamine system, not against it. Here are some practical tips. 1. Break big goals into small steps. Each small success gives your brain a dopamine hit, keeping you motivated. 2. Pair hard tasks with small rewards. Example, after writing for 30 minutes, enjoy a favorite snack or take a walk. 3. Create dopamine anchors for positive habits. Listen to energizing music while working out, for example. Over time, your brain will associate the activity with a dopamine boost. 4. Be mindful of dopamine traps. Recognize when variable rewards like endless scrolling are hijacking your system. Set boundaries to avoid falling into compulsive loops. Focus on intrinsic rewards. Research shows that pursuing goals aligned with your values rather than external rewards creates its more sustainable dopamine-driven motivation. Final thoughts. Dopamine is not good or bad. It's simply how your brain motivates you to act. Understanding how dopamine drives your decisions gives you power to break habits that no longer serve you, to build habits that align with your goals, to navigate a world full of dopamine triggering distractions. Remember, it's not about fighting your brain chemistry. It's about designing your life to channel dopamine's power in the right direction. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Science and Psychology for more insights into how your brain works and how to use it better. What's one habit you'd like to build or break by working with your dopamine system? Share it in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching and stay curious.